started, we'd like to make a few thank yous to the Sequoia staff. They've been fantastic. To the video crew, the streaming video crew on YouTube from South City High School. Certainly KCA, EA, and John Mylon and Ethan Cassell. Everyone connected with the tournament, thank you very much. Before we get started in the boys' final, we'd like to introduce the two first-team All-Leaguers from this past season. First from the north, from Terra Nova.
We are live here from the PAL Tournament Championships. We are between games right now. The girls from Sequoia winning the championship game 43-33 over South San Francisco. We are between games. MA and Carlmont coming up on the boys' sides next. But first, the first team All-Leaguers from the north and the first team All-Leaguers from the south will be announced here live at Sequoia High School. Nice little ceremony in honor of our first team All-Leaguers for both the north and the south. We're going to listen into that. Saw J.J. Cruz in action last night in the 60-50 loss to Carlmont. Jefferson's next game will be in the CCS playoffs.
From Hillsdale,
now they'll announce the South first team All-Leaguers.
From Carlmont, Sho
Takahashi will be playing in moments. He'll run the point for Coach Osorio's squad.
From Menlo-Atherton, James Beckwith.
Beckwith, senior standout for this Menlo-Atherton team.
From Aragon,
plays a stretch three, really does it all for this MA squad.
From San Mateo, Ryan Miles Ferguson.
And in a moment, we'll give you all the All-Leaguers in case you're not hearing him. That's John Horrigan, our PA announcer. My name's John Mylod. Anthony Remedios with me. Nick Tripaldi, just a junior for Menlo-Atherton. He will hit from downtown all night long.
Player from the south, Mills High School, Colby Vasquez.
And Coach Hanson at Mills with Colby Vasquez as the MVP. Here is the first team All-League teams around the Peninsula Athletic League. We'll start with the girls north. It's Becca Tossi. She was the MVP. Jasmine Pon, Abby Kennedy, Alex Solis, Maylee Bowers, Kapua Wong Hin, and Tilila Tuiasosopo from Westmore. All first team All-Leaguers. Now we look at the girls south All-Leaguers. Ashley Triwiller was the MVP. Lydia Manu, Suwana Afu, Kayla Stonebarger, Erica Fisher, April Towson, Mailsiunga Afiki, and Jalen Perongan were your first team All-Leaguers from the north on the girls' side. Now look at the first team All-Leaguers from the boys. J.J. Cruz from Jefferson, Jordan Salgado, Sori Saimi from Half Moon Bay, Antonio Rusinov from El Camino, Lloyd Aguas from Westmore, and Justin Milch, head coach Milch's second kid. Jared Milch also, I believe, a first team All-Leaguer for head coach Kenny Milch. And then the boys South All-League squad, Colby Vasquez from Mills was the MVP. The other first team All-Leaguers playing tonight will be Nick Tripaldi, junior from MA. James Beckwith is a senior. Sho Takahashi from Carlmont also will be in action tonight. Ryan Miles Ferguson from San Mateo, Sam Manu from Aragon, and J.R. Cotton from Hillsdale round out the first-team all-leaguers that were announced before today's first game and just a moment ago on the boys' side. Coming up now, we've got Carlmont, number 2 in the PAL South Division. They are 21-4 on the season, and they're going to be taking on MA, undefeated in the league, 21-3 overall. And for the starting lineups, we now turn things over to Anthony Remedios from Aragon High School.
Okay, so from the Scots, we will have number 0, Lawan Nelson. Number 5, Sho Takahashi. Number 10, Jake Kennedy. Number 21, David Bedrosian. And number 32, Grant Acker. And they are coached by Ron Osorio. The Bears.
The real nice thing about that for Osorio, and something that he did not have before, there's a 15-point loss to MA earlier in the year. They had a rough time with the Bears in that one, a close game previous to that, just a 3-point game. Bedrosian hasn't played in the last 2 games. He's in action tonight. 2 games ago, their Kennedy didn't play, their big man in the middle. He's in action tonight. So Coach Osorio's got more of a full lineup in order to attack this MA team. Who's going to be starting for these Bears?
For the Bears, coached by Mike Molieri, we have number 2, James Beckwith. Number 5, Justin Anderson. Number 10, Nick Tripaldi. Number 20, Will Beasley. And number 31, Heath Hooper. And your officials for today's game, we have Randy Barber, Paul Clay, and Lee Stambolis.
You know, I was talking with actually Noel Shen, who is a referee, and they're having trouble. It's amazing. Lee Stambolis, Paul Clay. I've been doing this a long time. I feel like I see the same exact names. Obviously, they love what they're doing, but not a lot of guys out there that want to ref. And are really good at it. So it's good to see some good guys out here in order to call this game.
Officiating in general, across all sports right now is facing a big shortage. I'm a baseball umpire, youth baseball umpire, and we're having the same problem as well.
We are now going to stand for our. Nope, we will not. We're going to get. We're actually going to get our starting lineups. You just got them from Anthony. Now we will get them from John Horgan, our announcer. Coming into this game, let's look at how these 2 teams got here. For Menlo-Atherton, overall, they are 12-0 in league, 22-3 overall, champions of the South. Just a daunting preseason schedule for this MA team. They start off 4-3. They've won 18 games since, but who did they lose to? Bellarmine they lost to. They lost by 1 to Mitty. Well, Mitty, if you look at the standings, well, they won the WCAL this year. So that's a great loss. Even though it's a loss, the 1-point loss to Mitty, they lost to Bellarmine. Bellarmine came in 4th in the WCAL this year. So those are great losses right there. They also lost to James Logan, who took down the West Bay League this year. They came in 1st. So every loss, a quality loss en route to this 22-3 overall record. They won the Windsor Holiday Classic, knocking off Rancho Cotite, Fortuna, and Healdsburg. They've got rivalry wins over Sacred Heart Prep, Palo Alto, Menlo. And if you're MA, those are the teams you want to beat. Those are your neighbors. You love when you can meet those kinds of teams. In league, as I mentioned, 12-0. Between these 2 teams, it was a 3-point win for MA at MA, 65-62. And then a couple weeks ago, they played at Carlmont, a 53-36 win for MA. However, I mentioned missing a couple of their starters. Coach Molieri, in his 7th year, went all the way to the NorCal Championship game a couple years ago, 132-63 overall. Ron Osorio, in his 2nd year, just the 4th coach in the history of Carlmont basketball, also owns a win over Palo Alto. Their loss to Stewart Hall, a real good team up in the city. They won, I checked it, they beat Hillsdale and Aragon in the Burlingame Lions Club tournament, and we'll get you the rest of that schedule in a moment. We are now going to stand for our national anthem, honoring America before our championship game. was a beautiful rendition of the national anthem, sung like it's supposed to be sung. I appreciate that. We have got the opening tip coming up here. My name's John Milo, along with Anthony Remedios. Ethan Castle will be joining us shortly. The students of Aaron Boyd at South San Francisco running everything else here, from cameras to engineering to editing to replays. Ansel Policarpio is the technical director today. Carlo Banzon is the technical director for the replay. Tuan Ta, along with Coy Lee, Christian Meza, and Ariana Barraza. Actually, Ariana Barraza is doing graphics. And that's Coy, Tuan, and Christian all running the cameras for today's game, as Kennedy is at center court with Hooper, and the ball will be taken in down by the MA Bears, and we are underway here. Championship game of the PAL tournament. Anderson has the ball between the circles. He's a junior, right side Tripaldi. They switch. Now Beckwith drives, pull up, 18-footer right wing, draws front iron, rebound knocked out of bounds. Going to be off of Menlo-Atherton. Sneaking in there was Tripaldi. He couldn't pull it in. Instead, it's going to be Carlmont ball, and MA will come out in that full court man-to-man pressure. Kennedy with Beckwith on him. He'll challenge him into the front court. Beckwith on his every move right there. Takahashi now just across the timeline. Anderson on him. Tight defense by MA in the opening moments. Carlmont can't get into the scoring area. Still 30 feet from the hoop as Nelson has it. Right side, Takahashi, ball knocked out of his hands. Anderson has it to steal. To his right, he's got Beasley. Shot off the glass, too hard. The tip is good. And that's Hooper with the first bucket of the day for Menlo-Atherton. Nelson in the backcourt. And right there, that's Bedrosian seeing for his first action in a couple games. He's an honorable mention all-leaguer. Takahashi outside the arc, near side. 18-footer blocked up top by Anderson. Nearly saved from going out of bounds. Real quick move right there. However, it will be out of bounds to Carlmont. In the opening moments here of the championship game, Carlmont playing their first since 1985. They made the champion 3 years ago. Takahashi harassed Bedrosian now outside the arc. Dishes baseline. Can he bounce pass down low to Acker? His bucket is good. Great ball movement that time by Carlmont, and they get their first bucket. It's a 2-2 game. Moments in here. Beckwith, top of the key. Anderson popping to the free throw line. Now turning and facing outside. Beckwith three. Left baseline is good. James Beckwith with his first. 5-2. The lead for Menlo-Atherton. And they will pick up full court. Bedrosian onto the front court on a dribble. Tripaldi on him. Just very close. He's close to a 5-second call, and Paul Clay is going to get him for it. And that's great defense right there by Clay. And boy, so far, Carlmont has one shot. They made it.
Yeah.
Been in 3 trips down the floor, just one shot. Defensive MA making it real tough. Now Anderson calling out plays to his teammates, starts left to Beckwith. Popping to the free throw line, asking for it and getting it is Beasley. Cross court, Tripaldi three, around and out. Takahashi with the rebound for Carlmont. Into the front court, almost picked up timeline by Anderson. Now bounce pass left side is Bedrosian. Tripaldi on him. Acker will hook inside the lane, altered by the defense of Tripaldi. Here comes Beckwith on the loose ball. Quickly front court, finds Anderson. Dish inside, bucket no good by Hooper. Great ball movement, couldn't get the pass, couldn't get the bucket to fall. Now Kennedy will bring it into the front court. MA 2 wins over Carlmont this year. Takahashi gets back to Kennedy. Now Takahashi 25 feet from the hoop left side. Shake and bake around Anderson. Floater from 8, no good. Rebound tipped around, ends up with Takahashi. Tries to throw it off at Tripaldi. Instead, ball picked up by Beckwith. Front court, Anderson. Dishes right side. He was going for a little shake and bake. I think at the last minute, the defender, Bedrosian, cut off the passing lane, and it caused a travel right there on Anderson. Jimmy Bean comes into the game.
And Ledwith will come in also.
Sammy Bean, pardon me, and Ben Ledwith, 6'6", will also come into the game, joining Nelson, Takahashi, and Kennedy. And Takahashi, nice move inside, gets around Beckwith, the bucket good. First team all-leaguer, that's his first bucket. Tripaldi with the ball, goes cross court to Beckwith. Dish inside and ends up with Skylar Thomas. Now Tripaldi outside the arc, falling backwards, gets that one to fall. His first bucket, 8-4, MA on top. 3 Bears have scored, 14 Bears scored last night. Trapping half-court pressure, and the ball knocked out of bounds off of MA. But working on that shot clock, and every attempt at a shot has been very difficult so far. As it takes him good 15 seconds just to get it in a position. Nelson with the ball, drives right elbow, floater in the lane, contested up top by Tripaldi, but on the mark. Now Tripaldi right side. Beasley. Now Thomas ends up with the ball. Goes to the top of the key, and Beckwith. Shake and bake down the lane, floater in the lane, no good, back iron tip, controlled by Thomas of MA, and his putback is good. It's a 10-6 lead. And full court pressure into the front court, 26, just by a second. Nelson on the floor, nearly loses it. Instead, a timeout is going to be called by Carlmont. I think they wanted to take one right there. It's a 20-second timeout. But so far, tremendous defense by this MA team. You see right there, Nelson just gets tripped up coming into the front court, just beats the time clock by a second. Coach Carrion was over there and had a timeout ready to call. And Coach Menlo-Atherton talking it over with his team right now. He's got to be pleased with their defense. Opening moments here, championship game. MA and Carlmont. MA winning a couple years ago. Carlmont playing in their first since 1985. And finally some substitutions for Menlo-Atherton. As we saw Skylar Thomas come on a moment ago. Trevor Wargo joins Tripaldi, Jackson, and Beasley. Shout out Anderson and Beasley. Bedrosian, Takahashi, Bean, as well as Acker on the floor with Ben Ledwith. 4-point lead. Bedrosian with the ball. Tripaldi, Wargo on him. Check that. Takahashi, 3 near the buzzer. Shot no good. Tipped twice inside. Loose. Still loose. Finally controlled by Bedrosian. Wargo jumps out on him. Takahashi fakes right. Goes left to the 3-point arc. Faking on his shot is Bedrosian. He's going to be hacked as Skylar Thomas just got up high and they just couldn't stop his momentum. He picks up the foul. It's a 10-6 lead for Menlo-Atherton. Always difficult to beat the same team 3 times, especially when you play them in a playoff scenario. That means you beat them twice, but they're a very good team. They were second place this year in the South. First free throw by Bedrosian is good. Bedrosian 7 points a game, nearly 5 rebounds. He was 3rd this year in points per game in the league, or rather on the team rather. Second free throw is missed, and can't have that happen. So Carlmont with the ball. Bedrosian, left lane, runs right over Beasley, no call. Takahashi has it stolen from behind by Largo. Down the floor, Anderson in transition, a little finger roll. Bucket is good. And this is a balanced MA team. 5 Bears have scored. 5 different field goals and 5 different Bears. Ball left side, Acker. Posting up inside is Ledwood, doesn't get the pass. MA does not have the height that Carlmont has, but they have the speed. Bedrosian terminates the dribble right side. Now Takahashi. Bean, left side is Acker. Largo pops out on him, now to the baseline. 5 on the shot clock. Bean forces up a little floater in the lane, it's good. And they needed that with the shot clock winding down. 12-9, 3-point lead. Anderson with the ball looking for Beckwith in the corner. Instead, he goes right down the lane, misses a shot, grabs his own rebound. The putback is around and in. Anderson's got 4, the only Bear with 2 field goals. The lead 5, full court man-to-man pressure throughout this first quarter. Bounce pass stolen by Beasley. And it's given him a bit of a tough time. He's got Lynn to his left. Lynn's just checked into the game.
Both teams have also just been very quick today in their speed, as they have been all year, especially MA.
MA first in offense, 63 points a game, and first in defense, giving up only 40. So J.D. Carson also in the game for MA. Ball on the baseline. Now Carson with the 3 from the left baseline. It's good. His first bucket, 17-9. Full court pressure by Menlo-Atherton. Near travel there by Goldbeck, who's just checked in. Acker back to Goldbeck. He's got Bedrosian as he's pushed all the way back to the timeline and just not getting in a position to get at the hoop. These Carlmont Scots, this suffocating defense just keeps pushing him towards the timeline. Goldbeck with the ball. Lynn on him, just a sophomore. Goldbeck terminates his dribble, knocked out of his hands by Lynn, and boy, that looks like it could have been off of Carlmont. Instead, it'll stay with the Scots. As checking in now is going to be Zach Burgos. Bean, Burgos, Kennedy, Acker, and Goldbeck. Goldbeck with the 3 right there at the buzzer. A third straight possession that the shot clock got the less than 5 seconds against Carlmont. Looking at MA, that's Carson, Largo, Thomas, Lynn, and Hooper. With a name like Hooper, I'm expecting a few more shots out of Heath. Carlmont ball underneath their own hoop. Just 14 seconds remain here. Shot clock off in the first. 8-point lead for MA. And Goldbeck all the way to the timeline. Just 8 seconds remaining here in the quarter. Shot clock going down and trying to get at the hoop. Acker's going to throw one up at the buzzer. It is no good. We've reached the end of 1 quarter play here at Sequoia. We're going to stay right here between quarters. It's a 17-9 lead for Menlo-Atherton. You're listening to the PAL Tournament Championship game. John Milot and Anthony Remedios. And MA has been fast breaking all quarter long. They get 17 in that first quarter. However, 6 different Bears in order to get there. So really spreading the floor well is Coach Moliari's squad. And then 9 points so far for this Carlmont squad. The leading scorer is going to be Dave Bedrosian. Both teams will play in the CCS playoffs. MA is going to most likely play in the open division. It would be kind of extremely a surprise, big surprise if they did not. And then even on the girls' side, that Sequoia team, maybe they end up in the open division as well. They were the PAL tournament champions on the girls' side earlier today, 43-33 behind, 11 from Afu, 10 from Dolsky, 9 from Papalonghe, and 8 from Jackson. Alexa Jackson, 7 more steals. She had 12 yesterday. That's 19 in 2 games. Coming out to the second quarter, it's going to be Wargo along with Carson, Lynn, Hooper, and Thomas for Carlmont starting out this second quarter of action. We're waiting for the Scots to hit the floor. See if Coach Osorio switches it up at all. It's going to be Kennedy, Acker, Bedrosian, Bean, and Sho Takahashi, the first team all-leaguer, starting out this second quarter of action for Carlmont. For us, we're going to turn the play-by-play duties over to Anthony Remedios.
Takahashi with the ball. He will come up over half court on the right side, being defended by Carson. And he will pass over to Acker. Back to Takahashi on the right side. He'll dribble down to the post for the shot, and it is a jump ball on the rebound. And that would be MA's ball. And that was Wargo getting in there from MA. He will inbound it. And MA is going to go man-to-man press here.
It's the first time we've seen the Scots press right now so far.
Passes down low. Oh.
You know, and I think it might be some kind of zone press. It looks, maybe it's a 2-2-1. they didn't completely match up. They left one guy deep. So I'm wondering if that's where they gain their advantage on that press.
Could be. And Carson just turned the ball over to Takahashi. We got Bean going down. Now Takahashi going down to the post. Pass over down to Acker right at the post. Bean up with the shot, and it is good. And it is a 6-point lead for the Bears right now. We have about 7 minutes to go here in the second. Carson with the ball. And he will pass down and back. Carson with the ball down to Borgo and back.
The son of assistant coach Craig Carson and teacher at MA, Jenna Carson. Oldest of 3 kids.
10 seconds on the shot clock here. And it'll be an out of bounds off of Thomas of MA.
Mass substitutions for the Bears. They're going to get their starters back in there.
And on the floor right now, we have Beckwith. Tripaldi, Thomas, Anderson, and Beasley in for the Bears.
Thomas just getting that steal. MA ball. Fouls, I believe, going to be called, and I think MA is going to have an opportunity to get a couple free throws. Acker will pick up that foul. It's going to be his first team foul as well on Carlmont. Neither team in any kind of foul trouble. Just 3 total fouls so far in the first half. It's been a clean game.
And the first free throw for Anderson at the line will be good. And we have Nelson coming in to sub for Bedrosian of the Scots.
And Bedrosian hasn't played in the last couple games. I wonder if they're going to need him to get his legs underneath him.
And that was Jake Kennedy with the rebound for the Scots. Nelson with the ball, passes down to Kennedy on the right side. Further down to Takahashi. Nelson at the post, he will go up for the shot, and it is blocked by Thomas. Beasley with the recovery, going right down, passing over to Anderson on the left side. And now you got Beckwith with the ball. And that will be a kick ball against MA.
That's a great idea right there. Beckwith penetrates 2 players coming for the defense. He goes for the bounce pass inside. It was a little too close to Thomas, ended up going off his knees, his leg.
And we have Kennedy with the ball, back up to Nelson. Takahashi on the right side. He will pass up to Nelson. And Nelson will lose control over to Will Beasley. Oh, and it was deflected. Takahashi with the recovery. And there will be a Menlo-Atherton foul.
And you're going to get Beasley with that foul. That's going to be his first 3rd team foul on MA. Coach Moliari didn't like the defense right there by the Bears. A little quick lapse in that intense defense.
And we have Bean with the ball down at the baseline. And he turns the ball over to Thomas. Passes down to Tripaldi. Going down on the right side. And Anderson with the ball. Back over to Tripaldi. Anderson once again. Now we're down on the left side. James Beckwith takes a 3-point shot. Rebounded by Kennedy. Nelson with the ball.
And really crucial that Carlmont keeps MA at only 1 shot. That'll keep him out of the pressing zone.
Takahashi with the ball. He goes down on the right side. Pass to Nelson. Back up to Takahashi. 3-point jumper. And it is no good. Rebounded by Acker. Puts the shot back up. Fouled. And the basket is good.
That's a great shot right there by Acker. He got great position right there on Beasley. He ends up getting the rebound. As he's going down, he shoots it back up, gets the bucket, and he'll get a chance to go at the line for the bonus as Hooper checks in for Thomas.
And Beasley will pick up his 2nd personal foul and the 4th team foul right there. And Hooper will come back in the game, and he will sub out for Thomas. Acker at the free throw line. And the 2nd free throw is no good. Tripaldi with the rebound. He will come on up over half court. Down to Anderson on the right side. Looking for the pass, back up to Beckwith. Now you got Tripaldi on the left side. Beasley with the ball. And Beasley will take the three-point shot, no good. Rebounded by Beckwith, puts up the shot, no good. Beasley with the rebound. He will go up for the shot, no foul is called. Acker with the rebound, Takahashi coming down the right side. Being defended by Tripaldi. And that will be an out of bounds on Carlmont, so it will still be the Bears' possession. No, sorry, the Scots' possession.
And the big guys in there, both Ledwith and Kennedy on the floor, 6'5" and 6'6" for Carlmont.
And we have Wargo waiting to come back in for the Bears. We have Goldbeck with the ball. Pass over to Takahashi. Nelson on the left side. Goldbeck at the post. Back out to Kennedy. And Kennedy will go back up. He will get fouled.
I think they're going to get Hooper with that one right there. His MA's committed a couple here late. And it will be on Hooper. Midway through the second quarter, MA's picked up 4 quick fouls in the last couple possessions.
Kennedy will shoot 2.
And the first free throw for Kennedy is good. Wargo will come in for Beasley.
6'5" senior, averaging just over 7 points and 3 rebounds a game for Coach Osorio. This Carlmont squad starts 5 seniors.
And Tripaldi will inbound it to Beckwith and back. He will take up the ball.
And I've been corrected. Ben Ledwith is actually 6'8", not 6'5".
Wow.
And Ledwith gets the block right there.
And Goldbeck going down for the layup. And it is no good. Tripaldi with the rebound. And he gets fouled going out of the key. And that will be on Goldbeck for the foul. His first personal and the second team foul for the Scots. Tripaldi coming in here. Pass down to Wargo. Wargo with the ball. Back up to Anderson at the top. And Wargo going up for the three-point shot. Rebounded. And Beckwith back out to Wargo. Over on the other side to Tripaldi. And Hooper set the screen right there.
And boy, Tripaldi doesn't need much room to get off a shot. He banks that one in, gets that one down.
And we got Goldbeck with the ball here. J.D. Carson on a man-to-man defense high up right there. Takahashi with the ball, goes down towards the post, puts a shot up, no good. And Anderson with the ball here, back out. And Tripaldi will take the three-point shot. And with just under 3 minutes here, MA has an 8-point lead over the Scots.
Yeah, it's a full timeout, but we're going to stay right here. MA can put runs together in streaks right there. 5 quick ones by Nick Tripaldi. He leads all scorers with 8 points. One of 6 Menlo-Atherton Bears to score in tonight's game. On the other side, 4 points for both Bean and Acker. It's a 8-point lead for Menlo-Atherton. They've pretty much been in control of this so far, and it's been led by their defense.
Yeah, the defense has really just been picking up and carrying this game.
Girls winning the championship from Sequoia, playing in their first ever PL tournament championship game. They won that earlier tonight as they knocked off South San Francisco. South City won 11 straight until they ran into the Cherokees tonight. 43-33 was the final. Alex Solis, the first team all-leaguer for South City, led all scorers with 13. 4 Cherokees had between 8 and 11 points in the win. Both teams will play in the CCS playoffs, and they'll find out tomorrow where it will be, as the CCS seedings meeting is on a Wednesday this year. It is tomorrow.
And we will have Nelson coming up with the ball. And he will come down the left side. Passing down to Takahashi. Thomas waiting to come back in for the Bears, and Beasley as well. And Takahashi will pass the ball out of bounds, and it will be the Bears' possession.
You know, it's just so hard when you cannot breathe. There's not an uncontested pass. There's not an uncontested dribble. You can't lose your focus for 1 second against this MA defense.
And on the floor right now, you have Anderson, Beckwith, Tripaldi, Thomas, and...
Oh, boy. Is he hot? Tripaldi is nailed. I think he's 4 of 5, his third three-pointer.
Nelson with the ball on the right side. Going right down for the layup. He puts it up, and it is good. It is now a 9-point game. Just under 2 minutes to go. Beckwith goes up with the three. No good. Anderson will get that deflected rebound.
Boy, Coach Moliari goes a long way in getting a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here. That's Anthony Remedios. My name's John Milot. Ethan Castle will be on in moments. And Coach Osorio, he means business. I just talked to him. We just talked to him about 20 minutes ago. He is now in just a T-shirt.
Yeah.
He is coaching in a T-shirt now. It is that kind of game. Instantly, this one got intense. The Carlmont Scots just 2 losses in league, both coming to this MA team. And right now, MA, their offense is good, but their defense is absolutely dynamite. And really, you know, they say defense wins championships. Sequoia today, tremendous defense. They win the game. So far, the better defensive squad in today's game has been MA, and now they're leading to 9, and it's a big reason because of it.
And we have about a minute and a half to go. 1:36 here on the game clock. And it will be 30 on the shot clock for the Bears as Tripaldi will inbound it. And he will inbound in the backcourt to Anderson. And Carlmont will not press. Anderson calling out the plays. And he will dribble down over, up at top. He will take the shot. Thomas with that rebound, and he will take the foul.
That's a tough foul right there. Kind of a loose ball as Acker picks it up. And and
Acker will pick up that foul.
And he's got 2.
His second personal, but only the 3rd team foul for the Scots. And Tripaldi will inbound almost to the half-court line.
Yeah, but get it back to Tripaldi right away. Get it back to him. Give Tripaldi the ball right now because he's uber hot.
Ball to Tripaldi and back. Now you got Anderson with the ball. And Anderson will look for the open pass. Passing down to Beckwith on the right side. Back up to Tripaldi up top. Take the three-point shot, no good. Acker with the rebound.
Beckwith
right away
to
Nelson.
Beckwith is such an alert basketball player to know to get it to Tripaldi.
And Bean will take the three-point shot, making it a 6-point ball game. The Bears have the lead.
Bean's got 7 of the 17.
And Beasley will go up for the 2-point shot. And 30 seconds to go here, 28-20 Bears. And Nelson will come on up the left side. He will pass all the way down on the right corner to Bean, who will take the 2-point shot. It is good, and he is fouled.
That's tough right there as Beckwith pretty decent position on that.
And that will be Beckwith's foul, his first personal. And Wargo will come back in for the Bears, and Kennedy coming back in for the Scots.
Boy, Bean has been the leading, the really only bright offensive spot for this Carlmont team. Misses the free throw there.
And Beckwith will pick up that rebound, send it over to Anderson, who will come on up. 10 seconds on the game clock now. 6-point lead for the Bears just before halftime. And Wargo will go up for the 3-point shot, and it is good. There's the buzzer, folks. At halftime, we have the Menlo-Atherton Bears 31, the Carlmont Scots 22.
Yeah, big first half for Menlo-Atherton. Hitting that 3-point right there, very kind of tells you what that first half was all about for Menlo-Atherton. They were very difficult defensively. They got some good looks offensively, knocking down threes. Tripaldi had 3, Beckwith had 1, Carson had 1, Wargo had one. Overall, 7 different Bears score, taking us out to this 31-22 lead. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. Well, maybe not quick, maybe 5-minute break.
Yeah.
But then we'll be back with the second half tip. Ethan Castle is going to join me as well. Anthony, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will be talking to you and hearing from you again very soon.
Thank you.
You are listening to the PAL Tournament Championship game on the South City Video Art YouTube channel. Welcome back to Sequoia High School, the PAL Tournament Championship Games here on the South City Video Art YouTube channel. My name is John Milod, along with Ethan Castle, bringing you the second half of tonight's championship game on the boys' side. If you're just joining us, it was the girls' championship first. That was a 10-point win for Sequoia over South San Francisco. Balanced scoring for the 5 starters for the Cherokees, 11 for Afu, 10 for Dolsky, 9 for Fali Papalonge, and then Jackson had 8. She also had 7 steals in the game, 5 for Jacqueline Curlin. Leading all scorers in the game was Alex Solis, the first-team All-Leaguer for South San Francisco, had 13. Becca Tassi was held to 1 point. There were no points until 2:35 remaining in that third quarter in the loss. An 18-1 run by Sequoia made a big difference. Here in the first half, it's been really once the Bears were able to, they wanted an 8-0 run, and they put a little distance between them and Carlmont. And really, Carlmont hasn't been able to sneak much closer since. They were able to get it to 15-18, but since then it seems like the Bears are able to kind of been able to keep them out a little bit of a length, I should say. In that first half for Carlmont, they were led by Sammy Bean. He had 9 points, 4 each for Luan Nelson and Grant Acker. Knocking down a bucket was Sho Takahashi. A couple free throws for Candy, 1 for Bedrosian. Looking at Menlo-Atherton, Nick Tripaldi nailed 3 3-pointers in that first half. He has 11. Once again, spread scoring, 5 for Anderson, 3 for Beckwith, and then Hooper, Beasley, Thomas, Carson, and Wargo all with buckets, as Menlo-Atherton had 14 players score last night. He had 8 score in the first half here tonight. So 31-22, the lead is 9 as we get set for this third quarter of play. Carlmont will start out with Nelson, Acker, Bedrosian, Takahashi, as well as the big guy in the middle. That's Jake Kennedy, 6'5". That's your original starting 5 for MA. It's going to be Hooper, Beasley, Anderson, Tripaldi, and Beckwith on the floor. That is their original 5 as well. South San Francisco will start with the ball, and for the call, we will go to Ethan Castle.
Welcome back. Third quarter underway. Luan Nelson inbounding to Sho Takahashi. He's going to be met right away by Justin Anderson. Nelson on the wing with Will Beasley in his face. Beasley plays way bigger than his 5'11" frame. Acker takes the top of the key. Swings it off to Bedrosian. Bedrosian defended by Tripaldi. Tripaldi can't stick with him as Bedrosian gets it down low. Tries to send a pass along the baseline that's tipped. Takahashi ends up with it. Acker nearly went over the back on the rebound after Takahashi's shot was missed. Ends up being Tripaldi bringing it into the front court with Anderson for the Bears, who lead by 9. Anderson slipped it down low to Heath Hooper, who draws the foul with 7:29 left in the third. Hooper will go to the line.
Yeah, that might have been the most astute thing said on this broadcast in the last 2 days. Beasley plays bigger than his 5'11" frame. He has gone up against every center we've seen so far. He is the man in the middle. He's not even 6 foot. He uses that body.
You look at this Menlo-Atherton team and think, how could they be an open division team without anyone over 6'3"? It's because of that. It's because of Beasley's play. It's because of Skylar Thomas's play. It's because of Heath Hooper's play. They can deal with teams with more height like they might have to on Friday, assuming they end up facing either Bellarmine or potentially Sarah. 2 free throws by Hooper. He misses both. It's Bedrosian on the rebound, leading it back the other way for Carlmont. Tripaldi picks up Bedrosian past the center line. It ends up being Anderson knocking away from Takahashi, but Bedrosian recovers on a tip ball in the backcourt, so no violation. Carlmont still with half the shot clock to work with. Takahashi makes his way into the lane, tries to go up and under, no good. Kennedy rebound, no good. Acker third chance, that's no good. And finally, securing it is Heath Hooper. Back the other way, Beckwith with Tripaldi. Tripaldi trying to create some separation. You know they're going to have to key on him with how well he played in that first half. Bears offense will reset as they slow it down a bit. Anderson with Tripaldi in the backcourt. Tripaldi out near the volleyball line, gives to Hooper. Hooper to Anderson, and there's going to be a foul called. Foul is going to be on Sho Takahashi. That's his first. 6:40 remaining in the third. No baskets yet in this third quarter. Just 2 free throw attempts, and those both missed. MA, just their third and fourth free throw tries. They are 1 of 4 at the line as a team. Tripaldi taking it in against Takahashi. Hooper now gets a face full to Grant Acker. Back to Tripaldi. Tripaldi at the top of the arc. Kicks to Beckwith on the wing. Beckwith working it down low. Hand check by Takahashi, not called. Hooper into the lane. Kicks to Anderson. Bears do a good job to avoid a 3-second violation. Anderson driving and scoring. He's going to be a Division I defensive back on the gridiron, but man, he can deliver on the hardwood as well. Back the other way, Lawan Nelson for Carlmont. Shakes off Beasley, puts up a 3, and that's short. Front iron, no good. Tripaldi rebound. Sammy Beaton getting set to check back in for Carlmont. He's the lead scorer. Anderson working it down low to Beasley. Hooper, elbow jumper, too strong. Tripaldi fighting for the rebound with Nelson. It turns into a volleyball match for him before Beckwith grabs the offensive rebound. Gets it to Anderson, but Anderson's shot won't go, and the Scots dodge a bullet as they give up a second chance, but won't allow any points. Nelson the rebound. Carlmont brings it the other way. And there's going to be a foul called on James Beckwith with 5:40 left in the third as he pushed Bedrosian.
And for Beckwith, that's going to be his second.
Nobody with 3 fouls yet. Only other players with 2 are Will Beasley for the Bears and Grant Acker for the Carlmont Scots. Down low, Ledwith off the inbound from Nelson, a design play working to perfection. First points of the night for Ben Ledwith. Cutting it to a 9-point game once again, 33-24. Tripaldi taking it back the other way for the Bears. Kicks to the corner. Beckwith inside Hooper. Hooper back out to Anderson along the wing. He's got Tripaldi calling for it. Tripaldi takes it there. He's going to have blisters from clapping so loudly for the ball.
Looks like Hooper's a little banged up. That left knee might be giving him some trouble.
Fortunately, the Bears have some depth inside, such as Skylar Thomas, who's set to check in. Hooper taking it along the elbow, nearly travels, gets it back to Tripaldi. Tripaldi 3 too strong. Beasley clearing out space, offensive rebound. He takes up so much more space than you would think for a guy his frame. We could just go on and on about Will Beasley, the way he uses his body. Beasley gets it back from Anderson, now kicks to Beckwith. Beckwith, another one who's been playing bigger as of late. Beckwith finds Tripaldi, 3 from the wing, too strong as he's finally cooled off just a tad, and it's Kennedy on the rebound. Scots have played MA even so far in the third, just 2 points each way, 33-24 Carlmont trails. Little over 4.5 to play in the period. Takahashi defended by Anderson on the right wing. Both teams getting up a bunch of subs. Takahashi gives to Kennedy, drives baseline, backs down a defender, no call. Kicks out to Ledwith, who nearly loses it. 13 on the shot clock. Nelson left side. Nelson into the lane, has a clear path to the hoop and scores to cut it to 7.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Moliere is going to be happy with that. In fact, he's calling a timeout right there. The first thing you got to do is you got to stop the ball, and you're a defensive team. You got to stop it. 3 guys all go on their man right there. And you see Lawan Nelson, really nobody goes at the ball. He goes right free, uncontested up at the hoop, gets the bucket. Coach Moliere called that timeout before the ball had actually fallen through the hoop and hit the ground. He knew what was coming. He knew he had to stop it.
This is a team that usually gives tremendous help defense, very uncharacteristic of them. While we've got a moment here during this full timeout, just wanted to give you a little brief insight into the upcoming CCS playoff picture. Now, the seeding meeting is tomorrow at 4 p.m., traditionally on a Sunday, but with the changed playoff schedule this year squeezed in, all because the state tournament ends a full 2 weeks earlier this year. Seeding meeting on a Wednesday, like we said, 4 p.m. tomorrow, and then the selection show at 7:30 tomorrow night. That'll be available online via the NFHS network. MA, a lock for the Open Division at this point, the top public school in the section. They should be seeded either somewhere between 4th and 6th, most likely the 5 seed. Currently got them projected as a 5 on prep2prep.com, where they'd face Bellarmine. Carlmont projected for a top seed in Division 1, either the 1 or 2 seed. Going to duke it out over there with Piedmont Hills from the BVAL down in San Jose.
According to your hard work, it's studying the numbers, and not really the numbers, what the coaches are saying and who beats who. How many WCAL schools do you see playing in the Open Division, and who are the random teams that are going to cut into that other than MA? Do you know?
Likely Leland. Carmel has an outside shot to take that. As of now, probably 6 WCAL teams. Sacred Heart Cathedral has a slim chance of being a 7th. Beckwith to Thomas. Thomas on the baseline, looking around, kicks to Wargo. Thomas, such long arms, gives him a lot of liberty to work with. Beckwith shakes off Bean and kicks to Anderson. Anderson right side. Wargo on the left. Beckwith left corner. Down low, good ball movement. Thomas to Wargo, and it's Wargo for 3 from the top of the arc, putting MA back up 10. He had the huge three-pointer to close the first half, and he hits another big one here, 36-26.
So 1-2-2 full court zone press by Menlo-Atherton.
Takahashi as the Scots break that press, using Ledwith's length in the middle for that. Again, though, I would love to see Ledwith just post up a little more. He uses his length when he gets the opportunity. He needs to be a little more authoritative. Bean kicking to Bedrosian on the wing. 3 on the way, no good. Wargo another rebound. Really like what Wargo's done off the bench. Remember, he started when Anderson and Thomas were still playing football. Wargo gives to Thomas here. Beasley now baseline defended by Ledwith. And a bit of a mistake by Beasley as he throws it over Wargo's head and out of bounds. It'll be Carlmont ball as Zach Burgos checks back in to give Bedrosian a quick breather.
Yeah, a little miscommunication right there. I think mid-throw, Beasley tried to switch where that ball was going to go. And instead it will go back to Carlmont.
Going to be Bean inbounding. Spencer Lynn about to come back in for MA. Burgos handling it for the Scots in the backcourt. Hasn't seen much time tonight. He started yesterday with Bedrosian out. Defended by Wargo, gives to Takahashi on the wing. Anderson and Wargo over there to double. It goes out off of Anderson. They'll stick with Carlmont with 25 on the shot clock. Spencer Lynn coming back in for Beasley. So 2 sophomores on the floor between Lynn and Thomas.
Once again, such tenacious defense. Nothing comes easy.
You can see why they only lost to Mitty by 1. Nearly had that game in the bag. Only lost to Bellarmine by 10. Only lost to Logan by 6. Going to be Burgos on the wing.
Mitty winning the WCL championship this year. Bellarmine came 4th. Actually, I guess they could get higher tonight.
They could move up to into a tie for third if they were to win. 3 on the way for Wargo off another assist from Thomas. He's got it, and the Bears have their largest lead at 13. And once again, it's the depth making the difference for MA.
9 off the bench for Wargo.
They go 5 deep on the bench and can go even deeper than that. Most teams only rotated in 3 guys, maybe a 4th, and another turnover as Lynn knocks it loose. Wargo on the steal. Wargo to Lynn. Lynn on the wing, back to Wargo, top of the arc. He's feeling it. Why not? And even as the defender boxes him out, he drains another 3. Fired up as can be. 16-point lead in a flash. Menlo-Atherton 42, Carlmont 26. Timeout Scots. 2:14 left in the third.
Yeah, they're going to take a full timeout right there. I think they're going to need it as Sequoia scores in bunches right there. Just a quick 9-0 run. And, you know, and you have a little bit of lead. Somebody goes on a 9-0 run, and you end up finding yourself down by double digits. Right now it's 16. So for MA, that defense just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, and eventually they just wear you down. And Carlmont, anytime there's been any lapse, boom. Seems like they've been able to do it.
It's to a point of being ridiculous, and they've been doing it all year. They don't let up. They haven't really had any letdown trap games. They've been playing great team basketball, very refined. Must be a dream to coach these guys. You can tell Coach Molieri really likes this team, and he was concerned before the year started about their lack of size.
You know what's nice about MA, and when you have a program where you've been consistent the 7th year for Coach Molieri, all 7 of those years the JV coach has been Craig Carson. One program, that's why they're successful.
Kids very familiar with the system. They're familiar with how to trap, although Carlmont breaks this one with Nelson back on the floor along with Sammy Bean. Nelson defended by J.D. Carson now. Nelson kicks, Kennedy in the corner. Kennedy had a couple of threes in the first time they met. Here he drives baseline and scores to cut the lead to 14. I like the insertion of Kennedy and Acker in the starting lineup tonight. They both gave such good minutes yesterday. Wargo's going to try another 3. This one, little short, and he took that one from pretty deep. Acker ends up with the rebound, but it's back to MA.
Oh, it was deep all right. That's an NBA at least.
Lynn with Carson on the left side. Ends up being Carson taking it back out high, communicating with Beckwith. Beckwith, 3 years of varsity basketball, able to read the floor very well as he shakes off Nelson. Into the lane, floater is good.
That shot right there is such a hard shot to nail. Looks easy, very difficult.
Remember, when he came up as a sophomore, he was just an outside shooter. He's really rounded out his game. 1:14 left in the third, and a foul being called on Menlo-Atherton. Going to be 2 on Spencer Lynn, and Joe Seaman getting his very first appearance for the Scots here. Got to find some way to break this MA rhythm. Beckwith coming out and Tripaldi back in. On the inbound, Nelson to Goldbeck. Goldbeck, the lefty, trapped in the corner by Wargo, but gets it free to Bean. Bean has a lot of room. Kicks to Seaman on the wing. Seaman back out to Kennedy. Kennedy defended by Thomas, and a foul away from the ball. That will be Tripaldi.
I mean, really, another guy off the bench, Seaman 6'4".
Carlmont has no shortage of length, and guys like Acker and Kennedy have used their size pretty well. Kennedy takes the inbound inside from Nelson. Can't get the finish off the glass. Offensive rebound, Kennedy put back. That rolls out, and it's Tripaldi back the other way for MA. Tripaldi's been everywhere tonight. Bears thought he should have been the league MVP, and he's making a strong case tonight. He gets to the hoop, and it's MA by a 18-point margin, their largest of the night. Another basket for Tripaldi. And now Carson, using his football skills, gets right in Nelson's face and draws the offensive foul on the push-off.
The big ball. J.D. Carson takes that offensive right there, and it's just...
I believe that's the first offensive foul for either team in this game. Looking through my notes here. That's the first offensive foul, nearly 3 quarters before one was drawn. And that's with two teams that know how to draw charges and do so regularly. Nelson's going to get popped for another here as he and Carson were going after each other a little bit away from the ball. Referee Paul Clay going to be in there.
And just Nelson's going to get it, it looks like, I think.
Yep, just Nelson. Going to be 29.8 left in the third, so the Bears could really just run this down and take the final shot. And I think, judging by how far back Nick Tripaldi's lining up in the backcourt, that is exactly what they plan on doing. They can just run this thing down, get a look they want, go into the fourth. At worst, assuming they don't turn it over, up by 18, maybe even put this thing completely out of reach, go up 20. The last time these two teams met, it was 48-26 after 3. It was a 53-36 MA win as they called off the Dogs in the fourth. Wargo tries a 3 with a man in his face too long. Tripaldi gets the rebound. Carson, as time expires, no good. Second chance won't go. MA had a chance at that thing, even with the missed 3-pointer. It won't fall, but the Bears can't be too frustrated. After all, they've got a 46-28 lead with just 8 minutes to play in this 2019 PAL Championship.
You know, for many years I've had Dean Hassapakis sitting next to me for a lot of the broadcasts on KCEA, and one of the things we always look very closely at is offensively, every quarter you want to be in double digits. And defensively, the goal is to hold the other team in single digits. I know that sounds very easy, but you look at this game, Carlmont 9 in the first, 6 in the third quarter. That's doing what you need to do. They did score 13 in the second. For MA, 17, 14, and then 15. Consistently scoring, not going through any droughts. In fact, every team that's lost so far over the last 2 days went on a run where they couldn't put the ball in the bucket. It was 16-0 in one. There was a 15-0. There was a 16-1 run. Lots of runs, and that's been a big difference in these games. And MA's defense, that promotes runs, and it really stifles that offense of Carlmont.
Just remarkable. Again, so methodical. No losses by more than 10 points. Just 3 losses all year. They're on an 18-game win streak, looking to extend it to 19.
And if you lose to the champion of the WCAL by a point, it's a great loss. All right, starting out this fourth quarter of action, Carson, Thomas, along with Tripaldi, Wargo, as Thomas drives down, and Lynn. Ball ends up in the hands of Carson. Too hard off the glass. Thomas' shot putback is no good, but he's fouled. Let's look at those Carlmont Scots starting out the fourth. It's going to be Golbeck, Takahashi, Bean, Kennedy, and as well as Bedrosian. It's a 18-point lead moments into this fourth quarter of the championship game. On the girls' side, Sequoia winning the PL championship earlier here on the South City Video Art channel. And now MA looking for their second ever PAL tournament championship.
You mentioned that loss to Mitty. The Bears led that game by as much as 7 or 8 in the fourth quarter. If not for a foul call, it could have easily been a charge with 8 seconds left. They could have won that game. Thomas makes both free throws to lead up to 20.
So here, full court pressure still by Menlo-Atherton, and they're mixing it up. It goes from man-to-man to 2-1-2 to 3-1-1. 3-point on the way by Bedrosian, no good. Here comes Anderson the other way, attacking the hoop. Now looking for teammates, turn, spin, shot is good.
Coast to coast, doing it all. I love the spin, the jump stop, the body control.
I mean, so much on this team is done well. And wow, long throw down the floor, Kennedy and Thomas. And Thomas is going to pick up a foul. That's a tough one. That was a baseball-like pass. So first couple buckets of this fourth quarter have gone the way of MA. They have now opened up a 22-point lead, 50-28. yesterday they more than doubled up the Terranova Tigers.
Got that game in the running clock.
85-42. Yep, offensive foul is going to be called there on Kennedy as the moving screen. Great idea. You want to free up the ball, the ball dribbler, get him up the floor, but that time just a little bit of movement. That led to the foul. It's the second on Kennedy. It's the 16th foul here on Carlmont in the second half. Minute into this final quarter of play. And they led by 8 after 1, 9 after 2, and 18 after 3. Beckwith with the ball outside the arc, left side, finds Thomas on the baseline. Shake and bake, goes back out top. Beckwith 3 on the way, and a foul is going to be called.
Even up the offensive fouls.
Yeah, away from the ball. And that's going to be called on Beasley. So Beasley's going to pick up his third, 15th foul on Menlo-Atherton. 22-point lead for MA. And now it's full court man-to-man pressure by the Cherokees. Bedrosian, Bean from 3, left side is good, and that is the man that Carlmont needs to get the ball in his hands. Got 12 of the 31 points.
Got a long way to go. They did come back by 16 against Half Moon Bay back in December. Game that Cougar coach John Parsons was in agony over.
Tripaldi with the ball to Beckwith, right corner, fakes baseline. Zed goes down low to Thomas. Thomas has it stripped out of his hands by Bedrosian. Loose ball picked up Bean. And against Anderson, he will bring the ball into the front court.
Bean's been more than just a shooter tonight. Been very impressive.
And a floater from Bedrosian. Now Takahashi. 3 is good.
Bedrosian takes down the defender, rebounds his own miss, gets the shot to Takahashi.
50-34. So MA up 16. 6 minutes remain here in tonight's championship game. Menlo-Atherton looking for their 20th straight winners. It was 18 last night, or was 19 last night? They have not lost in a long time. They were 4-3 at one point, and now they've won 18 in a row. Now we're 22-3 heading into tonight's action. As Ethan mentioned, they will be one of the teams in the Open Division. We'll find out tomorrow sometime exactly who I should say they're playing. I believe the Open Division, they still play at the home site of the higher seed?
No, they go to neutral sites, usually either Santa Clara High or Fremont and Sunnyvale.
For all
Piedmont
3 rounds?
Hills. Yes, the only games in the Open Division played at home sites are the consolation games. But as of now, MA's in line to play probably either Bellarmine or Sarah. Sarah about to lose at Reardon. If Bellarmine was to beat Mitty in what's currently a tie game with just a couple minutes left, Bellarmine would likely pass there, and you have an all San Mateo County showdown, public versus private, between MA and Sarah. That would be awfully exciting. Sequoia's played Sarah the last couple years in the playoffs. Cherokees had actually won a couple of meetings with them before Sarah finally got him in this building in the Open Division consolation round last year. Sarah also beat the Cherokees 63-30 back in December.
MA up 16 with the ball. Anderson, Beckwith, Beasley, Tripaldi, and Hooper. That's your original 5 on the floor for the Bears. Anderson down the floor. Floater in the lane is up and good. Anderson with 4 of the 6 points for MA here in the quarter. The lead again, 18. Kennedy, Bedrosian, Nelson, Takahashi, and Bean on the floor for Carlmont. Kennedy with the ball, baseline, cross-court pass, stolen by Anderson. And a little telegraph that time by Kennedy. Beasley gets drilled by Kennedy. That time Kennedy, I think he anticipated the pass. He went up strong, and actually I think he was giving it. And here, I think this is just a frustration foul here as Kennedy loses his balance and then tries to knock it out of Beasley's hands. Instead, he's going to pick up his third. And Beasley will go to the line and shoot a 1-1 for Menlo-Atherton. 17 fouls.
Fortunately, Beasley's tough. He can handle getting clocked. Big hockey fan. Surprised he hasn't dropped a couple of hockey cliches for a post-game quote.
This one well in hand for Menlo-Atherton as Beasley knocks down the first.
Might be wondering, where are the other public schools in this projected Open Division? Well, only one public school team beat a WCAL team this year. That was Santa Cruz over a shorthanded St. Francis team.
And an offensive rebound after the second free throw is missed. Ball down low, ends up with Tripaldi. Floater in the lane, no good. Got his own rebound, put back, blocked by Bedrosian. And Hooper ends up with it. He's tied up. And with Kennedy, jump ball, and possession arrow belongs to Carlmont. Great hustle out there.
And like we said, Carlmont still will be a pretty high seed in Division I. Hey, depending on where Sequoia and Carlmont end up, they could line up if Sequoia was to beat a quarterfinal, a second-round opponent, get to Carlmont again. That would be awfully exciting. Would draw a heck of a crowd.
Takahashi down the left lane. Anderson got a clean block instead, but they're going to call it on Hooper. And that's going to send Takahashi to the line. Takahashi's got 5 points in the game. He comes in averaging 10. Nelson comes in averaging 11. He's got 6, so a couple guys a little below their average. Bean making up for it. He's got 12. He averages 5 as Takahashi hits the first free throw.
Had 17 last night. Takahashi and Nelson each did.
Just under 5 minutes as Takahashi nails both, but it's a 17-point lead at the moment.
And if that final score looked familiar when they met on February 1st at Carlmont, this was your final as MA spoiled the Scots senior night.
Anderson, a little shake and bake, fake pass to the left, creates space, gets the bucket. Anderson, 6 points in the quarter, 19-point lead.
And this isn't even his best sport. He's a better football player.
MA is loaded with athletes. That is for sure. Of course, MA winning the state championship game. Beasley picks up his 4th foul here, 17 fouls. Nelson will go to the line.
Mention that state championship game. Head football coach Adir Ravapati in the house supporting his Bears tonight.
That game played right here at Sequoia High School at Terramare Field. Al Terramare Field, longtime head coach of the Sequoia football team, later a principal at Carlmont. Missing both is Nelson. Down the lane, Anderson looking to dish to Beasley. Ball knocked around, saved from going out of bounds by Beckwith off a Carlmont Scott. So it's going to be the Bears ball underneath. Beckwith hands off Tripaldi. Trapped in the near corner, somehow eludes it. Turned into a little bit of man advantage. Anderson dishes. Hooper has it knocked out of his hands, regains it loose on the floor. It's going to be a jump ball. I think this time the MA Bears will have possession. It's an 18-point lead, just under 4 minutes remaining. MA looking, they won a championship at Mills in 2016.
Suffocated Half Moon Bay defensively in that game.
And nice give and go to Hooper. He can't nail the bucket. Instead goes to Tripaldi. His floater from 12 is good. Tripaldi's got 15. The lead is his largest at 20 now.
Bears on their way to becoming just the 3rd team since the league merged back into the North-South divisions from the Power League structure to go not only 12-0, but win the PAL tournament as well. Burlingame did it in 2014. Bears did it in 2016. Got a chance to repeat here.
Shot on the way. Boy, Bean has been on fire in tonight's game. That's the only person they really need to take out. He's got 15 as well. 57-40. It's a 17-point lead, full timeout. We're going to stay right here at Sequoia. We're in the final quarter of play. The 6th game that's been live here on the South City Video Art channel on YouTube. All of the semifinal games, 4 yesterday, and then both championship games here today have been live. In game 1, it was a 10-point win for the Sequoia Cherokees over the South San Francisco Warriors. And here in game 2, MA jumped out, led by 8 after a quarter, and really have not looked back. Carlmont was within 1 at 5-4. As close as they've been since then, 18-15. They trailed by 3 early in the second quarter, but the suffocating defense of Menlo-Atherton has led to many easy looks offensively. And it's also, you think of that you get the opportunities on offense, but it also prevents the other team from scoring or even putting up a shot. And early on in the game, there was one particular sequence where 3 or 4 times Carlmont was not able to get off a shot. There was a 10-second foul, 10-second count. There was an offensive foul. There was a ball knocked out, blocked and controlled by MA. Very difficult if you can't get up shots. Tripaldi takes it out against the full court pressure. Man to man. Check that. It's a 3-1-1, it looks like, for Carlmont. And pass nearly knocked away. Wargo gets stolen by Takahashi, stolen back by Beasley, gets to Beckwith. Beckwith eludes a couple defenders. Now it's finally stolen. It was a 3-on-1. And couldn't get any help before the ball gets turned over. Nelson, shake and bake, splits the defenders with the right up and in.
Still a ways to go, but they've cut it to 15.
57-42 in transition. Beasley knocking that one down. So, and now Takahashi, boy, the first team all-league, are really going at the hoop in these last couple possessions. He's fouled here. He's going to go to the line. Lee Stambulis with the call. And he's going to get Glader on the foul. Glader seeing his first action of the night.
One of those crowd shots during the last time out. I believe that showed Carlmont football coach Jake Messina. Scots also played in this championship game at Terramere Field. Game they lost 38-0 to Burlingame in CCS Division 4.
Scots played in their first CCS game since 1990.
Messina's got that program headed in the right direction. They had a stellar senior class, going to be a lot to replace, but things are looking up. They've got kids coming to off-season workouts, and it makes a huge difference.
Beasley down the lane with the left. The bucket is good. Beasley back-to-back buckets.
Nearly bowled over the photographer down there, Bob Dahlberg, who's done great work giving us shots of MA all year.
And look at Beckwith right there, diving for the ball. They're up 18 with 2.5 minutes left in the game, and he's diving for every loose possession. That's the kind of athlete you want representing your team right there.
And looks like Carlmont is going with a full court sub. We mentioned football. Sophomore Siupeli Natane, he was their quarterback. He's out there seeing his first appearance of the night, along with Reese Posey. And as the Scots turn over on the inbound, Brendan McLaughlin's going to come in for MA, along with Anthony Marini.
Lots of substitutions here. Thomas will also come in. Andrew Morris is going to come in. We got mass substitutions here. As you mentioned, McLaughlin will also come in. Wargo is on the floor.
Some confusion substitution-wise with MA and Coach Mo. Quite frustrated going to take the timeout.
I think he wanted 5 in, 5 out, perhaps, and he didn't get that. Anyway, he wasn't pleased with that substitution pattern. At the end of the day, what he's doing is he's putting players in a game that don't get to play in real close games. So, any updates from the WCAL action?
Still waiting. Bellarmine just beat Mitty 71-66. Bellarmine has beaten Mitty. The Monarchs are still the outright league champions. They secured that on Friday with a tremendous win over Sarah. But Bellarmine and Sarah now tied for third, and I believe because Bellarmine has the superior victory over Mitty, that's likely going to drop Sarah into the 4 spot. You might just see the Sarah Padres and Menlo-Atherton Bears do battle Friday night. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be nice. Oh, McLaughlin brings it into the front court. Gets it to Thomas. On the left side is Glider.
Did see a couple of Sarah folks here scouting tonight. They know what's at stake.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure Rapp's here somewhere, or was. He'll send somebody, I don't know.
He had one of his folks here. They played tonight.
Boy, you know, you see that Sarah has always been a good team, but always the bottom end of the WCAL. And then Chuck Rapp showed up. He went to Sarah, graduated, I want to say a year ahead of me, 86, played for the Padres. But as soon as he showed up, Sarah became an absolute powerhouse in the early 2000s.
94 feet of defensive intensity, not unlike what these MA Bears do. They defend, and they've pulled off a couple of impressive comebacks this year. Down 12 against Reardon late, down 20 against St. Ignatius. Would be an awfully fun matchup for MA and Sarah to battle on Friday.
You know, the public school kid in me wants to see Sarah in the first round, wants to see Bellarmine in the second round, wants to see Mitty in the third round. I want him to knock them all off. That would be ideal.
I love WCAL basketball, but I'm a public school guy at heart. I love seeing the public schools succeed. Palo Alto's run last year was phenomenal. That was a blast to watch.
And Steele here going the other way in transition. The bucket up and good. Getting his name in the scorebook for this one is Marini.
I think he was looking at going up for a dunk there. I remember earlier this year in a game over Hillsdale, he tried for one, couldn't quite finish it. Justin Anderson in the same position last night. But these guys, they don't usually go for the flashy play. They're all about fundamentals, but they can do the highlight reel mixtape stuff when they want.
Burgos to Natale.
Natane, a big kid and just a sophomore.
God, he is big. Three-pointer on the way. That's Bedrosian. Take that goal back with a shot there. No good. Now into the front court. Menlo-Atherton. And the ball loose. Outside the arc, faking on three, driving in. Shot on the way and good as Gilder. No good. Check that. That's Morris with the shot right there. Pardon me. Under a minute remaining here in the championship game. The MA Bears are going to be crowned champions. They won back in 2016.
Got a couple of juniors on the floor right now for Carlmont that you see a lot of time next year between Joe Seaman and Abram Goldbeck. This is a very senior-heavy team.
And Carlmont trying to put the final touches on this one. And then everybody will wait in great anticipation for tomorrow's seedings meeting to find out exactly where they are.
And remember, the selection show isn't until 7:30 tomorrow night. It was always midday on a Sunday, but again, the different schedule this year has affected everything.
Steele, McLaughlin has it into the front court, off the glass and good. McLaughlin takes it all the way. That's his first bucket. The lead is 24.
I expected something in between the first two meetings realistically. I thought, MA by about 10 or so, but they have made a statement. They've led wire to wire. This has been an MA clinic.
A little fortuitous there. Wouldn't have mattered, but the ball goes off Lee Stambles instead of going out of bounds. That ends tonight's game here at Sequoia High School, the championship game of the PAL tournament. For the second time in 4 years, that championship belongs to the Menlo-Atherton Bears. They knock off Carlmont 67-43. That's the third time they have beaten Carlmont this year. Looking at your high scores for this one, I'm going to turn it over to Ethan for a second. Ethan, this game won, I think, by the defense of Menlo-Atherton.
The defense and the bench, really. I thought getting those huge minutes from Trevor Wargo, Skylar Thomas with his defense, it was just good old-fashioned MA basketball, good minutes from Spencer Lynn. They made a statement, and it didn't matter who they had on the floor. And I think seeing, as you watch the Bears celebrate right now, they're happy, but they're not over the top because they know this is just the beginning for them. They knew what they were capable of this year. They've been doing it most of the way. Only a couple of somewhat tight games in league play, and after Carlmont gave them a tough battle the first time, shooting the lights out and pushing the Bears to the brink in a game, MA won 65-62. It's just been dominance by Menlo-Atherton. They've asserted themselves.
And they are balanced. They are deep. 10 scored tonight, 14 scored last night. 67-43 is the final here. Get you the high scores for today's game. We'll start off with the Carlmont Scots. They were led by Sammy Bean. He ended up with 15 points, including three-pointers as they're announcing the the runner-up here, Carlmont Scots. 9 points each for Sho Takahashi and Lawan Nelson. 4 for Jake Kennedy. Overall, 43 points for Carlmont, 10 below their season average. Menlo-Atherton, they scored 3 over what MA is normally giving up on defense. For the Menlo-Atherton Bears, they were led by Nick Tripaldi. He had 11 in the first half, 15 overall in the game. 13 for Justin Anderson. He had 6 in the fourth quarter, 12 for Trevor Wargo. He came off the bench for those 12. Very nice work off the bench for the MA Bears. Elsewhere, it was 7 for Beasley, 6 for Skylar Thomas, and 5 for James Beckwith. And a handful of other guys had at least a bucket, as I mentioned. They were 10 deep as far as scoring. Of course, handing out the awards right here. That is Fine Lauese, head coach of the Sequoia Cherokees. And I believe his 10th year now as head coach. He was also the girls' coach.
And he's really built this program up to the point where we're surprised not to see Sequoia playing deep in the PAL tournament. Total reversal of where they were less than a decade ago. It's been a remarkable span of growth.
6 years ago. Sequoia has been around since 1919. In the history of this school, they had never won a postseason basketball tournament ever until 2015. They won 2017, they won 2018. 3 times now they are the back-to-back champions.
Heck, the year they switched back to the North-South division at Burlingame, our first league game was against Sequoia. We opened up a 20-0 lead in the opening minutes in this gym. It's been impressive. And tonight, though, you've seen a showing of a bunch of the teams from the Sequoia district. The Sequoia girls team, of course, you see as Loese shakes hands with a bunch of these MA kids. He knows them well. They know all the Carlmont folks as well. These guys all know each other. And they all get along. It's been a good, clean game, hard-fought, but nothing malicious, just good, hard-fought basketball, the sort of stuff you love to see heading into the postseason.
You really do. MA maybe didn't get the challenge that they wanted here today, and I don't think the Cherokees got the challenge that they wanted today either. As Sequoia at one point opened up a 13-point lead in that game. They ended up winning by 10. Actually, it was 16 at one point right before the second half. However, Sequoia was able to hold off with their 3 sophomores leading the way. So, Ethan, we are going to send it back to the studios. Any final thoughts as we finish up today's game?
Just what a remarkable showing, not only by the MA Bears on the court, but by all these kids working for South City Video Art. They have done a remarkable job the last 2 days. This is professional quality. I can do what I can on the mic, but the production side of things is a pain to deal with. These kids do a great job with it, and they deserve all the credit in the world.
Absolutely they do. We want to thank our tournament site director, and that is Fine Loese. Terry Stogner is the PAL commissioner. Aaron Boyd is the teacher at South San Francisco that has done such a great job with all these his technical people as far as doing all the games live as you look at the championship Bears. We want to thank all the great work behind the scenes. Ansel Policarpio was the technical director today. The technical director replay was Carlo Banzon. Tuan Ta